You know what? I have said it before in the past that Robin is looked at as just one of the guys. It's so much more evident now than it ever has been. She's just one of the guys as far as Wand is concerned. And I think it's ridiculous. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for episode 7, season 8 of Real Housewives of Potomac. Yeah, Robin and Juan, that their whole dynamic, there's just no soft side. It literally is like he's just hanging out with a buddy. It's not like a husband and wife. It really isn't. He doesn't even give her the space to be soft or the space to do womanly things at all. And it's just so unforgiving, and it's just so I don't know. He just doesn't give her any damn leeway at all. It's like, Juan, give it a rest. My God. She's not your boyfriend. She's your wife. She is not your boyfriend. But anyway, she was actually doing what she's doing in that last episode, which I didn't review. That last episode, as it ended, she finally came to a little breakdown where it just all ended up just being too much. Once she started talking to Candace, Candace is a wordsmith. Candace has a way of throwing shade that those who aren't as good at throwing shade, she knows how to get through to you. Candace is like an old nasty piece of queen. And that's just how it is. That's how queens are. Baby, they get in and we will shake you. We will. We will shake you. It's something that we do, honey. Whether that's good or whether that's bad. You get into some old back and forth tongue wrestler with a queen, you better be ready. You better be ready, or do what you do. A lot of times you get punched in the mouth because people can't, you know, they just can't handle it. They can't withstand the pressure. So when you're a smart mouth queen, like myself, you also need to know how to fight and be ready to do so because our tongues are quite sharp at times, and some people are just not equipped for that. And sometimes they just gotta just go on and punch you, child, and that's it. You gotta be ready so you can tear their ass up when they do. But this, see, I'm veering off to the left, but that's Candace. Candace, don't be ready to get punched. Yeah, y'all remember she'll be ready to get punched, but that mouth be on point. And her words led Robin to a space where Robin felt as though bringing up the case about Juan is what made him lose his job. And that in turn kind of broke Robin. So they're on their way to the chicken shit bingo, and all hell breaks loose because she's in the car and she's crying, and it goes all the way down, and it's this whole thing. And then Candace starts up, and it ain't nothing for Candace to start crying. But I laughed at how Candace, as much as you cry, you turned around and told her, "Oh, please don't start crying, because girl, I ain't got it for all that." Like, what? You ain't got it for somebody crying? You serious? I said, okay. See, right then, that be the spot where you get punched in the mouth. Because, see, you just be doing too much. So, Candace did Candace. And now we got Candace crying. And we got Robin crying. I said, what kind of mess is this? They go into the chicken shit bingo. First of all of the women are completely overdressed. Completely overdressed, sticking out like a sore thumb. I don't know what type of trash place this. It was terrible. The place literally looked like it stunk. No shade, but shade. It looked like it stunk. But we got Candace and Robin sitting across the table from each other. Well, they're in a booth, a larger booth. One's on one end of the booth crying, the other's on the other end of the booth crying. I'm looking at the both of them like, really, just stop. So Giselle done got mad. Everybody's sectioned off. Giselle's mad now. Mia is catering to the Robin side. Now Wendy is into it with like, Mia just want to be the part or something. I'm like, oh God. And it really did come across that way. It really did come across that way. Um, just a whole mess. A whole mess. Um, there was a lot of stuff said. Like Candace is now, I understood like what she was saying. I'm not going to discuss my lawsuit when the person who's suing me is literally married to somebody sitting here. I'm not like, I don't trust her, and you shouldn't. And I'm just not going to do. I said, girl, you right. But let Robin do whatever Robin wants to do. Candace goes through her thing. She says she's crying because one, she don't like the fact that they're acting like she's victimizing Robin, but at the same time she's crying because she don't like to see Robin crying because she never sees that type of emotion from Robin. Candace, you were crying because you wanted the spotlight on you and you like to cry. That's all. You like to cry. Because what you did and said to Robin, you did and said to try to get that, and you never actually got that from her before. So you were really happy with that. You know you were. But all of it is a bunch of kerfuffle and confusion. It really is. So they end up, Robin goes outside. Mia follows her. She tells Mia, I just really want to be alone. I really want to be alone. And she's standing there. Then Giselle eventually comes out. And they're out there. And it's just a mess. There's a lot going on out there. Child, I'm sitting up here laughing at a lot that was going on out there. Like Giselle not being able to walk in her shoes. Just, oh God. It was really just ridiculous. It really was ridiculous. It was a lot of mess. A whole lot of mess. But Mia, Giselle, and Robin ended up actually leaving. They actually ended up calling the Uber and going back to the hotel. And the other girls go back in and they start having themselves a good time. Now, all along, Karen is having a fit because of the whole chicken thing. Y'all know chickens make her want to throw up. So she's on that whole thing. She wanted to throw up. And they're dealing with that. I've always kind of gave the side eye to Karen with the chicken thing, but that place looked like it stunk. Like we're literally waiting on chickens to shit, and that was part of the bingo, and it just a little too country, a little too weighed out in the country for me. I was like, that's a bit much. But anyway, and I couldn't even imagine wanting to have nothing to eat or drink out of there. That just wasn't working for me. Anyway. But they go back in. The rest of the ladies went back in and had themselves a good time. Then Ashley, with her shady mess, Ashley gonna say, "Oh, that man! Look at that man in there. He looked like a black version of Chris Bassett." Now y'all see the picture flash up here. That man do not look like no Chris Bassett. That's a black man. Chris is a white man. Just because he had on a baseball cap and a gray and beard, like I was like, Ashley, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You always stay in some mess. You always. That's you. You just always. But I didn't think the two looked alike at all. At all. Anyway, moving on. So the next day is Karen's birthday. Next day is Karen's birthday. Last year is when they were celebrating Karen's birthday, when all the stuff went down with Wendy and Mia and the drink being thrown and all of that. They literally ruined Karen's birthday. So Karen's like, ain't nobody trying to do all that this year, whatever. So when they very first started it up, Giselle had gone down and had a little talk with Karen. And so they were really off to a good start. That made her feel good. She talked to her brother earlier that day. She's 60 now. Giselle and Karen had a little sit down and they talked about the friendship between Candace and the friendship between Giselle. And Giselle explained to Karen why it's best to just leave everything alone. Just leave everything alone because there's not going to be a mesh back of friendship with them. And it's really due to the colorism piece. That colorism piece is a bit too much. She said there's no moving forward. There's no moving forward. The couple of colorism accusations and things like that have actually created some death threats. Well, she said hundreds of death threats for Giselle. And with that, she's like, you know what? I'm not even trying to move forward with her. I really don't have her to do. Now, listen, I feel conflicted with this whole thing. I really do. Is there a presence of colorism in this show? Yeah. If I said no, I'd be lying. We already know we got the Green Eye Bandits and all of this, and there's definite separation, and there's always been issue of the light-skinned women versus this dark-skinned women and the treatment, and they brought it forth and they talked about it. They brought it forth and they talked about it. Candace really did run with it. The colorism thing is bad on both sides. Nobody wins. Do you understand that? Nobody wins. The colorism thing is an issue within our community. It is. It always has been. And nobody wins. Dark skin or light skin. Nobody wins. Everybody suffers with that. With that. A lot of people don't even want to admit that it goes on within their family and stuff. Sometimes you don't even realize it. I swear I didn't really realize the presence of it in my family until maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And I just like slipped up upon it. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually have people in my family who actually feel this way. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, where do we get this from? Because I'm blackity black, but of course I have some lighter skin cousins and things. I have lighter skin folks. I got red bone folks in my family. But I just never seen, it just never had presented itself like that. And it came up and it was so blatant. It really threw me off my square. So, it's just, those are two things in the African American community. If you hear a person say there's no colorism situation in my family, or you hear them say there's nobody gay in my family, just bust out laughing at them because they lying, child. They lying. All of us got some. You understand? All of us got some. Anyway, so when I hear Candace doing things and saying things, I know the colorism piece exists. I know you were hurt by some of the things, but some of the things that you said were just a bit much. Like what she said to Giselle, I cringe every time I hear her say, with your white looking ass. When she said that at the reunion, it didn't make you look any better than what you've been through. It was just as ugly. It was just as harmful to all of us. Now, there's no winner in that. So I just, yeah. And they keep playing it. They keep playing it. And it's strategic. It is strategic on Bravo's part. It's strategic. It's they're victimizing Candace with it every time they play it because it don't look good. Um, they're evening it out. Is basically what they're doing. They're not slick. They're really not slick. Um, but it's the truth that they're actually uncovering that neither one of you black individuals are winning. The light skinned one or the black, the darker skinned one. Neither one of y'all are winning in that. Ain't nobody winning in that but Bravo. But anyway, Karen said to Giselle, you know what? We both basically are fair skinned women and we have brown skinned daughters. And when she said to her, I got to make sure that me and my daughters are safe, you know what I mean? So that whole thing of like the dog whistling and the cat calling on social media, that is a dangerous thing. That cat calling and dog whistling on the internet, it's real, y'all. It really is. It's real. I mean, you got to be very careful because there's some real fools out here. There's some real fools. There's some fools sitting in there right now looking at me. Looking at me. You just never know. You never know. And putting things out there, saying non-truths about people and posting it because you mad at me about something. So you make up a story and post it. That's that dog whistling. And that's that cat calling. People know that they're doing that stuff. They know they be doing that stuff. And yeah, it's dangerous because they ain't bold enough to come and do that to you. But where's the fool at that actually is bold enough to try it? You just never know. You just never know. The internet's open for everything and everybody, honey. It really is. And there is some mentally challenged folks amongst us that take things too far. That definitely take things too far. So all of that, I get it. I get it. Um, like I said, all of it, dog whistling, cat calling, the whole colorism piece. You don't know what people's experience has been. You don't know how it actually affects them. So all of this, it's a big bunch of mess. And none of the ladies are winning. The only one winning in this is Bravo. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with that. I'm moving on. So they're actually going kayaking. I don't know who, girl. No, I'd have been just like Karen. I probably wouldn't even went down there to sit over by the water because that water's dirty looking. That just ain't my kind of. That's not my kind of activity. But and again, with this group of ladies, like really, but they went there and they were doing whatever they was doing, and I was like, all right. And then they said there were snakes in the water. So I wasn't going nowhere near the water, child. Period. Period. But strangely enough, they seem to have all had a good time. Nneka and uh, Wendy actually stopped fighting for the time being. They just basically are coexisting. And everything down there kind of was cool. But if I was Karen, do I want to spend my birthday with that? Hell no. Karen did actually share that her aunt Val, had actually allowed her to purchase the grandmother's house. Her grandmother's house is over 100 years old, and she let Karen buy the house. Karen is talking about refurbishing the house to like a resort property. So I was like, interesting, but like, I guess somebody goes to Surrey County, to visit. So cool. They've been building it up, building up the county. So maybe it will bring some more people in. And it's the whole thing's like a plantation. It was a plantation and all of that. So who knows? Who knows? Um, yeah, who knows? Okay, last thing before I get out of here. Like I was saying with Juan and Robin. Robin in the morning is actually speaking to Juan. And he just is yelling at her. He literally was yelling at her for getting emotional when she was telling him what had happened and how she had a hard day. He literally started yelling at her and basically re-victimized his wife, beat her down about allowing the ladies to make her emotional. Juan, she is your wife. She is not your boyfriend. She's not your boyfriend. You know, I mean, he just beat her down with it. And then he literally hung up on her. I was like, it just brings me to that other thing where I just be like, I don't know. Sometimes I really do. A lot of times, not just sometimes, a lot of times I just feel like Juan don't even like Robin. It's like, do you even like her, Juan? My God. I don't know. She's better to me because I couldn't. I could not. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Juan, you gotta get yourself together. She is not a punching bag. And Robin, stop being a punching bag for Juan, girl. Damn. All right, y'all.